Tisha.
Thank you for joining me today. Conducting genealogical research on your family was a little different than the others, since you are first-generation Canadian, which is really exciting.
I warned you.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And you are relatively new speaking to Oxford County, so we had to get creative. Which was really fun. Honestly, I had a lot of fun doing it. So we used a variety of techniques and search engines to find various records pertaining to your family. And so I'll explain as we go.
Okay.
So first, again, census data. We love census data. So we actually found a couple different census records for your family on Ancestry. So first, we're starting with the Maybury family. Many of your family members worked in the printing industry. So they were part of typesetting.
Okay.
So newspaper printing.
Yeah.
So they would create all the newspaper stuff. Actually, quite a number of your family, if you can tell within the record, that several of them worked in it, it's kind of fun that it's a family business for them.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So yeah, they typically would compose the typesetting, and they were responsible for setting up and printing and assisting with newspaper printing and other printed documents as well. And then also I find really interesting, it'll come up later, but your family, the Maybury family, was a part of the Church of Ireland.
Yeah.
Which is a branch of the Church of England.
Yep.
So they're Anglican.
Yep.
Which I think is really interesting. It will come up again.
I bet.
So then we're going to move on. We have more census data. So that was the 1911 census for your Maybury family. And then we have the 1911 census for the Mullet family. And as you can see here, Mr. Hugh, who is the head of the family, he worked as an assistant clerk at the Union, for the South Dublin Union, which I find really interesting because the South Dublin Union was originally a workhouse, formerly known as the Houses of Industry, established in the 1700s to provide relief and employment for those in poverty because of the Great Famine. The South Dublin Union was also located on James Street and was the largest workhouse in Ireland. And then in 1916, I think he's still working for them at the time. The South Dublin Union was occupied by the 4th Battalion during the Easter Uprising and was a strategic position in the city.
Yeah.
So, which I find really interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah, so I find it really interesting. And then also, this side of your family was Roman Catholic.
Yes.
So you've got the
kind
of the Anglicans and the Catholics.
Yes, the stereotypical Irish story.
Yes, yeah. So I mentioned it to a couple of people, and they're like, I wonder what the conversation was like when there was a union between the two halves of the family. In addition, this family also had 2 in-house servants. So it was Sarah and Margaret. You can see their names on the census data. Okay. We also found the 1921 census for the Mullet family as well. And here you will see that Hugh changed jobs. So he moved from the South Dublin Union to work as a barrister at law for the civil service in the Ministry of Labour. His family also moved to England at this time. I'm not sure when that movement happened between 1911 and 1921. So it's speculation if he was actually still at the South Union during the uprising, but it would be quite interesting if he was, considering the fact he became a lawyer after that. So in addition to that, I also found several marriage and birth records for members of your family. I have them highlighted here. So I did find, I think it was a marriage between Daniel and Josephine. There's also a marriage between Jared and Elizabeth.
Jared
and
Elizabeth. That's my dad's dad and mom. Who didn't go by Jared and Elizabeth either. That wasn't the names they went by. They went by Mary and Jem. I don't know why.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I love family nicknames. They don't always make sense. But yeah, so yeah, and I think there's more in that package. Yeah, you'll see the other marriage record there. And then I also found birth records for Maybury family members. And I actually found it really interesting. On one of them, I did highlight it. On one of them, there are also members of Ryan. And then there are also some of the other family members. I'm not sure I couldn't find necessarily if they were your family members, but I found it really interesting that they were all on the same
Ryan
birth
is like
record.
depending on the time, like 5th or 6th most common
I was
surname
like,
in the
it's
country.
like
So it's be like, yeah. So
like the Smith,
it could, I'm sure, I guess basically that means they're somehow related.
Somewhere along the line at some point. I mean, the Irish are related to almost everyone.
Yeah.
At this point. So I thought that was really interesting that I was able to find several records of family members.
Yes. I'm impressed.
Took a lot of digging.
Yeah.
But I did it. But we're going to move away from your Irish side of your family and from the early era. So here in Oxford County, our archive uses Vita Toolkit to manage and display some of our digital photographs. Well, other institutions also utilize this kind of database that we do as well. And one of them is the Clarington Library, Museum and Archive. And thanks to their online database, I was able to find some newspaper records of you and your sister. So these are some of our newspaper records of you and your sister. So we found one so this is of the scholars. So I'm pretty sure that's you.
That's me. Yeah.
You think you got a good mark?
I did not bad. 84.17, right? But you will notice at the top of the page here, this woman, Theresa Bergman, is now Theresa Ryan. She was the school valedictorian and my girlfriend at the time.
Ooh.
And while I was pretty happy with 84.17, her average was 94.17, a full 10.00% higher than mine. So I married up.
Hey, look at you go. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I also found your sister in an article about the Legion Remembrance Day contest. And I think this is her,
that's her there.
Right there, winning an award, which is quite exciting. I don't know how impressed she'll be to know I found her.
She will be.
So that's
I think
great.
your sons will be more impressed.
Oh, probably. I think that's really fun that I was able to find not just you, but someone else. But I also found, I'm hoping it's you. I also found when you joined the Cub Scouts, if you joined them.
I think I was. I think, but I don't know. I was really little. I don't really remember it that well.
Yeah, in 1977, you joined the Maple Grove.
And it was apparently newsworthy.
Yes, it was. They had a little article in actually quite a bit. So you're welcomed as a new member in 77, and then in 78 you won your first badge. You won your team badge.
Team badge.
Yes, you were finally awarded your team badge, so your name is right there.
And you could buy a Datsun for $3,675 at the same time. Wow.
Yes, you could. Can't do that now. No. I know old newspapers are the best. You find the strangest information. Yeah. So I mean, it was really fun to look at kind of the records and try to sleuth through and find your family, considering the fact you have a very common last name.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun trying to figure out which Ryan was which, which mullet was which, and which Maybury was which. There was many a times where I'm like, oh, is that this Maybury or is that this Maybury? Are you part of this family? Is that this gen or that gen?
Yeah.
Because again, a lot of repeating names.
Sure.
Happened. He was a repeating name in your family, which happened a couple of times, and I think Sarah was a repeating name.
I haven't heard. I've heard Hugh before, but I never heard Sarah before.
There were a couple of Sarahs in the records, So it was fascinating to see that, and honestly, to go through the Irish records. I don't know if you've done it before.
No, but I have some family members who've attempted to. It'll be interesting for me to compare this with what they have and see and cross-reference and see what they have. Some of them have, but in Ireland, historically, those records were all kept by the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when you go back far enough, some of those records are just gone, either from 1916, a country that went through revolution and civil war, or just an old building burning down, and they're just gone.
Yeah, or even the famine.
Yeah.
Famine took out a lot, or just emigration out. Yep. You might not, because a lot of people emigrated out of Ireland, so it's kind of trying to keep track of where they went. So it was fascinating. There's definitely a lot to your family over there. So I mean, you've mentioned some pretty wild stories. So I found the calmer side of the family, which is good. So well, that is all I have.
Thanks very much.
No problem.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm
well
glad
done.
You enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.